This is huge for the San Jose Sharks as Ryan Warsofsky makes changes ahead of next game with recently acquired players joining the lineup, and the future looks even brighter as we see the Sharks' young guns tearing it up with one player in particular having an incredible stretch of games. We're going to break all this down in this episode, and you're not going to want to miss it. Before we get into that, if you're enjoying the Sharks content and you want to stay up to date on everything to do around the San Jose Sharks, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We'll be here all season long into next season, giving you updates from around the team. But with that, we got to hop straight into this today, where we did get multiple updates. We do see from the San Jose Sharks PR, he called Zack Ostapchuk from the Barracuda. We know he was acquired in the trade with Zetterlund that left a lot of fans a little upset, but we're finally going to see what Mike Grier seen in Zack when acquiring him from Ottawa. Now, looking at this, we do see from Shang Pang on Twitter as well. Go check him out, follow his tweets. He covers everything to do with the Sharks, and he does an incredible job doing it as well. We do see that he said Ryan Warsofsky says that he will make his debut for the San Jose Sharks. So Sharks fans, the wait is not much longer when we will see him debut. Now looking into his stats, former second round pick, 39th overall, so just almost a first round pick, drafted by the Ottawa Senators. We know he was a part of the Zetterlund trade. With the Senators, he played 43 games, putting up 4 points before going down to the AHL, putting up 11 points in 15 games. He's quite the big body at 6'4", 212 pounds. He is a big piece to add to this roster, and I'm quite excited to see him make his debut on the Sharks team. Now, before we do get into where he's going to fit, we did see a quote from him during the scrim, or practice, I should say, today. It gets me into the game, and it gets my teammates into the game. There's something I like to try and bring every night. And I just like to kind of just agitate guys. Maybe hopefully they take a penalty on me or something. And this was just when they asked him how he likes to play with an edge, and how he likes to watch how Tom Wilson, Josh Anderson plays. Now listen, Tom Wilson is a special name where we do see him scoring quite a lot of goals for the Washington Capitals. So if he can turn into any part of that, that would be incredible. But going to, once again, his stats, yes, he hasn't put up a lot at the NHL level, playing, I think it was just around 9 minutes for the Ottawa Senators, but still putting up 4 points, having 2 stints in the NHL, nearly being a point per game in the AHL. He was drafted quite high, putting up just over 40 points back in 21-22 for the Vancouver Giants. We can see his junior stats do look all right, but his size, his tenacity, everything he brings to the Sharks team is going to add a lot, and it seems like Mike Grier is really going in on these big guys to protect the rookies. I mean, looking at his draft stats, as I said, 39th overall pick by the Ottawa Senators. Has hands are obviously a strength, pushing his top hand of his hip for increased range of control, using lane deception to beat defenders, and showing backhand touch even when in motion. He does have a scoring touch that he just really hasn't brought to the league yet, so maybe with increased ice time on a more relaxed Sharks team this season, we're going to see him bring something, and we do see that he is slated to come in on the fourth line. We see with the Grundstrom and Goodrow, they don't shake the line too much. Giles is moved up onto the third line with Grier, and we see Grier make his debut with the Sharks for the second time, as he was a part of this trade as well. But this is a deep Sharks team, and by deep, I mean 4 lines that can contribute every night. Yes, you don't have the star power on every single line, but no NHL team really does. And with the Sharks, what they're building, I do think there's something special happening with this core. Adding young faces, and listen, getting Zach does suck moving on from Zetterlund, but you're adding a piece to this team that is younger than Zetterlund as well. I mean, looking at him, he's only 21 years old. He has a lot to grow with this team and organization for the years to come, so it's going to be quite exciting to see what he brings, not only just tomorrow night when he debuts on the Sharks' fourth line, but moving forward. But what are you guys' thoughts on him making his debut for the team, Ryan Warsofsky, making changes to this lineup? It's going to get quite interesting to see what the Sharks do with this, but the episode's not finished there yet. We do see from the San Jose Sharks PR, Collin Graf adds his second goal of the night, giving the San Jose Sharks a 3-1 lead in the second period. His first career multi-goal point game, and he now has 5 points in the last 5 games. Will Smith notches his second point of the game, 1 goal, 1 assist, with a primary assist to Mooka Madulin. Getting the secondary assist on the power play, Mook now has 7 assists in the past 10 games. The stars of this team are playing well, and we see a lot of the future finally starting to come together. Collin Graf was a piece. coming out of college that was sought after by almost every NHL team. The Sharks won the sweepstakes, and Collin Graf is finally showing why everyone wanted him. Over the last 5 games, as you can see, back-to-back assists versus Colorado and Buffalo. He did go versus the New York Islanders, not putting up a point, but he followed up with a goal versus Nashville and then 2 goals versus Chicago. Collin Graf is a special kid, and he's going to add a lot to the Sharks' future, which cost absolutely nothing, as they did not draft him. He was a free agent signing. As I said, out of college. We've seen him playing with University Story, where he put up 49 points in 34 games, signing with the Sharks, getting 2 assists in his first season in 23-24, joining the Sharks for his first full season, being almost a point per game in the AHL, and I believe top 6 in rookie scoring in the AHL, joining the Sharks team, putting up 5 points in his last 5 games and having 9 points in 23 games with the Sharks team. Collin Graf is going to be a piece for this team that a lot of people don't talk about. Yes, we do have some big names on this roster, but I can find the screenshot of Celebrini, Will Smith. There's so many young pieces on this team, but Collin Graf on the second line with Celebrini and Smith, I think adds a lot, and I like the kid line. I like getting these kids experience together. They're going to grow together. You still have a top line with Toffoli running that line as well, but this is a team that has a young player on every single line. I mean, even looking at Gills, a guy picked up recently from Florida in the Vanacek trade, only 25 years old. Zach, 21 years old. The defense is filled with a lot of young faces and a couple veterans as well. This is a team that's going to be quite exciting. And I mean, listen, you're going to look at the main pieces on this team. As I said, Macklin Celebrini is having a great stretch as well. Over the last 5 games, 2 back-to-back goal games, a 2 assist game versus the Islanders, not registering a point versus Nashville, but still putting up an assist versus Chicago in his rookie season. This is a total of, once again, 5 points in 5 games for Macklin Celebrini, adding him next to Collin Graf, doing the exact same thing over the last 5 games. And it doesn't even really stop there when you go to look at Will Smith's last 5 games as well. 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 assist, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 goal, and 1 assist. He has been electric as of late. 3 goals, 4 assists over 5 games. As I said, Muka Madulin is another name on this tweet, as soon as I can find it, having 7 assists over the last 10 games. I know it's a lot to take in, Sharks fans. I know it does kind of suck right now looking at this team. But with the team losing out on guys like Wallman on this defensive core, a team that moved on from Zetterlund at this NHL trade deadline on a breaker, just a buzzer-beating deal, it seemed like, when they sent him to the Ottawa Senators. This is a young team that's going to grow a lot. And as I said, yes, times are going to be tough. They're looking at the first overall pick to add to this team, but Sharks fans want to see some consistency, some winning. I remember seeing that they lost about 30 games with 1 goal apart. This is a team that very well could be in the middle of the mix. They're going to get a top overall pick again. They're going to add. The young stars of the team are going to grow even more, and this is the team when the future rolls around 2, 3, maybe even 4 years from now. They're going to be a dominant force that I think is going to win multiple Stanley Cups. Listen, I know a lot of Sharks fans have said that about a lot of cores, but this core feels special with the young faces on the team. Celebrini's going to headline this list. But listen, what's your guys' thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on the young guys lighting up? What's your thoughts on the Sharks letting their new players debut for them? There's a lot happening around San Jose, and you're not going to want to miss out. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go down and leave a comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. As I said, we're going to do everything to cover the San Jose Sharks. You're not going to want to miss it. But I've been your host, Mark Pye, and the future is teal.